For centuries, humanity believed it had explored every corner of its own solar system. Every asteroid had been mapped. Every moon had been scanned. Every strange signal had eventually found a scientific explanation. Or so everyone believed. Then, everything changed. It began with a routine deep space mining expedition beyond Neptune. The mining vessel Atlas 9 wasn't searching for history. It was searching for rare quantum crystals buried inside an ancient rogue asteroid drifting through the darkness. Captain Elena Ward almost ignored the first sensor reading. At first, it looked like equipment failure. The asteroid's internal structure was impossible. Instead of solid rock, the scanners revealed perfectly straight corridors stretching thousands of kilometers beneath its surface. Nature didn't create perfect geometry. Someone had built this. Curiosity replaced caution. Mining lasers slowly carved through the asteroid's crust. Hours later, the crew reached something that no human eye had ever seen. A wall. Not stone. Not metal. Something else. Its surface shimmered like liquid glass, yet it was harder than diamond. No scratches. No corrosion. No signs of age. Yet preliminary dating estimated the surrounding asteroid had drifted through space for nearly 2 billion years. The wall shouldn't exist. Captain Ward ordered a closer inspection. The moment her hand touched the strange surface, every light aboard Atlas 9 went dark. Silence. Complete silence. For exactly 7 seconds. Then the power returned. Every monitor lit up simultaneously. Across every screen appeared a single symbol. A massive circle surrounding an unfamiliar star. No language. No warning. Just the symbol. Before anyone could react, the asteroid began moving. Not drifting. Moving. Entire mountains of rock cracked apart like eggshells. The crew watched in stunned silence as billions of tons of stone broke away into space. Something enormous emerged. At first, nobody understood what they were seeing. The object kept growing. Larger, larger, larger. The scanners couldn't calculate its size. Finally, the onboard AI stopped trying. Instead, it displayed one impossible sentence. Object exceeds planetary scale. Captain Ward whispered, "That's not a ship." But she was wrong. Seconds later, the object rotated. Thousands of colossal engines became visible. Cities could have fit inside a single engine nozzle. Then came the impossible estimate. Diameter, over 18,000 kilometers. Larger than Earth itself. Humanity hadn't found a space station. It hadn't found a megastructure. It had discovered a forgotten starship bigger than an entire planet. News reached Earth within minutes. Governments denied it. Scientists argued over the data. Military commanders ordered immediate quarantines around the discovery. But none of that mattered. Because humanity wasn't the first civilization to notice. Across the galaxy, ancient warning beacons, silent for millions of years, suddenly activated. One after another. Then thousands more. Every major galactic empire received the exact same emergency transmission. A message so old that most species believed it was only a myth. One sentence echoed across billions of worlds. The World Eater has awakened. And for the first time in recorded galactic history, the galaxy wasn't afraid of humanity. It was afraid of what humanity had accidentally found. Earth had barely begun studying the colossal vessel when something even more shocking happened. Across the galaxy, panic spread faster than light. Entire fleets abandoned their patrol routes. Ancient military fortresses powered up after lying dormant for thousands of years. Trade routes closed overnight. Border wars ended instantly. Civilizations that had hated each other for centuries suddenly declared emergency peace treaties. Not because of Earth. Because of the ship. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, hundreds of representatives gathered for an emergency session. The atmosphere was unlike anything in living memory. No arguments. No political games. Only fear. At the center of the chamber floated an ancient hologram that few delegates had ever seen. An image of the same impossible starship now orbiting beyond Neptune. The silence was finally broken by the oldest member of the council. Grand Archivist Varek slowly stood. His voice trembled. It has been over 900,000 years since anyone confirmed the existence of the Leviathan. The chamber froze. Most younger delegates had never heard that name outside children's legends. To them, it was a myth, a ghost story told to warn reckless explorers. But the elders knew better. Varek activated another hologram. Entire star systems appeared, then vanished. One after another. Thousands of civilizations. Gone. No fleet defeated them, he said quietly. No empire conquered them. They simply disappeared. The recordings showed impossible destruction. Planets split apart without explosions. Moons vanished. Stars themselves dimmed as if something had consumed their energy. There were no survivors. Only empty systems drifting through space. According to the oldest records, every disaster shared one final observation. A shadow larger than a planet. The Leviathan. Back on Earth, none of this history was known. Captain Elena Ward and a team of scientists had been granted permission to board the mysterious vessel. Shuttle engines looked tiny beside its immense hull. Flying across its surface felt like crossing an entire continent. Mountains rose from the armor plating. Some structures reached higher than Earth's tallest skyscrapers. After several hours, they located what appeared to be an entrance. The doorway alone was nearly 2 kilometers tall. As the team stepped inside, every communication signal vanished. No radio. No satellite link. No quantum relay. It was as though the ship existed in its own universe. Darkness surrounded them. The lights awakened. One after another. A glowing pathway stretched endlessly into the distance. The walls pulsed with soft blue energy. Yet there was no dust. No decay. No sign that billions of years had passed. "It looks," whispered one scientist, "alive." Before anyone could respond, the floor vibrated. Far below them, something enormous moved. Not machinery. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Each impact echoed like distant thunder through the endless corridors. The team immediately aimed their weapons into the darkness. Nothing appeared. The footsteps stopped. Then a calm mechanical voice filled the corridor. Not through speakers. Inside their minds. Identity confirmed. Everyone froze. No one had spoken. The voice continued. Genetic signature recognized. Captain Ward exchanged confused looks with her crew. Recognized? That was impossible. No human had ever been here before. The voice spoke again. This time with unmistakable certainty. Welcome home, commanders of Earth. Silence. No one breathed. No one moved. How could a ship older than recorded galactic history know humanity? And more terrifying still, why had it been waiting for them? Far beyond the solar system, hidden in the darkness between galaxies, thousands of crimson lights suddenly opened. An ancient armada, silent for nearly 1,000,000 years, had received the Leviathan's activation signal. Their destination was already locked. And they had only one mission. Destroy the new commanders before the Leviathan fully awakens. Captain Elena Ward couldn't move. The words echoed through her mind again. Welcome home, commanders of Earth. Every member of the expedition exchanged uneasy glances. One of the scientists finally broke the silence. There has to be a mistake. Before anyone could speak again, the corridor around them transformed. The glowing walls dissolved into billions of floating particles, revealing a vast chamber stretching farther than the eye could see. It looked less like the inside of a ship, and more like an entire world hidden within one. Artificial skies shimmered overhead. Towering structures rose from the horizon. Rivers of blue energy flowed between massive platforms. Forests of metallic trees swayed without wind. It was impossible. The interior was larger than the ship itself. Captain Ward whispered, "This violates every law of physics." The mechanical voice returned. Internal dimensional expansion. Standard command architecture. Human scientists stared in disbelief. The Leviathan wasn't simply advanced. It operated on principles humanity couldn't even imagine. Then, at the center of the chamber, a sphere of brilliant white light descended. It slowly reshaped itself into a humanoid figure made entirely of energy. No face. No visible features. Only glowing eyes that radiated quiet intelligence. The entity bowed. I am Custodian Prime, the final caretaker of the Arc-class worldship Leviathan. For 2,300,000 years, I have awaited humanity's return. Captain Ward immediately stepped forward. You've made a mistake. We've never been here. Custodian Prime remained silent for several seconds. Then countless holographic stars filled the chamber. One spiral galaxy after another appeared before them. Finally, one small blue world emerged. Except, it wasn't Earth as anyone recognized it. There were no cities. No oceans in their current shape. The continents looked vastly different. This recording, Custodian Prime explained, predates your recorded history. The image zoomed closer. Standing on the ancient surface were tall beings wearing silver armor unlike anything humanity had created. They looked human. Not similar. Human. The entire expedition stood frozen. The beings boarded enormous starships rising from Earth's atmosphere. Millions departed. Only a tiny population remained behind. Captain Ward shook her head. That's impossible. Our species evolved here. Custodian Prime answered calmly. You did. But your civilization did not begin where your history believes. Your ancestors became guardians among the stars long before your oldest remembered age. The revelation shattered everything. Humanity wasn't a young species. It wasn't an accidental civilization. It was the forgotten descendant of one of the galaxy's oldest powers. Then every light inside the chamber suddenly shifted from blue to crimson. A warning echoed through the Leviathan. Hostile fleets detected. A holographic map appeared. Millions of enemy warships had entered the edge of the solar system. Each fleet carried the banners of different galactic empires. Empires that had been enemies for millennia. Now united. Not to invade Earth. To destroy the Leviathan before it could awaken. General Marcus Hale, watching from Earth's Orbital Defense Command, felt his heart sink. Humanity possessed barely 300 modern warships. The incoming armada numbered over 2 million. Earth couldn't survive even a single hour. Inside the Leviathan, Captain Ward looked toward Custodian Prime. What do we do? The ancient guardian answered with complete confidence. You give your first command. Ward hesitated. I don't know how. Custodian Prime extended a glowing hand toward a massive crystal console. The Leviathan remembers. The blood of its creators still flows through you. As Ward placed her hand upon the crystal, the entire planet-sized ship awakened. Across its colossal surface, millions of dormant weapon systems ignited one after another. Engines larger than continents roared back to life. Ancient shields surrounded the solar system in walls of golden light. Deep beneath the Leviathan's hull, 100,000 hidden fighter craft launched simultaneously. And across the galaxy, every empire watching the live feeds realized the same terrifying truth. The legends had been wrong. The Leviathan had never been abandoned. It had simply been waiting for humanity. Captain Elena Ward stood frozen. The ancient voice echoed through the endless chamber once more. Welcome home, commanders of Earth. No, Ward whispered. There has to be a mistake. Before anyone could react, the enormous hall around them came alive. The metallic floor rippled like water. Thousands of glowing lines spread across the walls, forming an immense three-dimensional star map that filled the chamber. Every known galaxy, every explored sector, every human colony, every star. The ship somehow possessed a complete map of the Milky Way, and regions far beyond anything humanity had ever explored. Dr. Elias Chin stared in disbelief. These systems, some of them haven't even been discovered by us. The voice replied calmly. They will be. Then a sphere of brilliant silver light descended from the ceiling. It slowly transformed into a humanoid figure made entirely of energy. I am Custodian Prime, it announced. The final intelligence entrusted with the Arc-class worldship Leviathan. For 2,143,000 years, I have awaited humanity's return. Captain Ward stepped forward. We've never built anything like this. Custodian Prime looked directly at her. You believe your civilization began on Earth? It did not. The room fell silent. With a single gesture, the AI projected another hologram. Ancient Earth appeared, not the blue planet everyone knew, but a younger world with unfamiliar continents and glowing oceans. Above it floated thousands of colossal starships. One of them dwarfed the moon. Millions of humans boarded those vessels while crowds watched from the surface below. Families, scientists, soldiers, children. Not aliens. Humans. They were the first navigators, Custodian Prime explained. The founders of the Stellar Dominion. They spread life, knowledge, and peace across the galaxy. Dr. Chen shook his head. Our history says humans never left Earth until the 23rd century. Your history, the AI replied, is incomplete. Another image appeared. A terrible war. Entire galaxies burned. Stars exploded. Moon-sized weapons tore planets apart. The Leviathan itself fired beams so powerful they carved glowing scars through space. The Dominion faced an enemy unlike any before, Custodian Prime said quietly. An intelligence that consumed civilizations. To ensure humanity survived, the founders made the hardest decision in history. The image shifted. Human memories being erased. Libraries destroyed. Technology buried beneath oceans and mountains. The remaining population was left with only fragments of its past. They chose extinction of knowledge to prevent extinction of the species. Captain Ward felt her heartbeat quicken. So, we forgot who we were. Custodian Prime nodded. You were never defeated. You were hidden. Suddenly, warning. External contact detected. The chamber turned crimson. A massive tactical display appeared above them. At the edge of the solar system, thousands of brilliant lights blinked into existence. Then tens of thousands. Then hundreds of thousands. The computer finished counting. 2,873,441 hostile vessels detected. Every major galactic empire had arrived together. The impossible had happened. Species that had fought each other for millennia had united for one purpose. Destroy Earth. Destroy the Leviathan. Destroy humanity before its ancient legacy could awaken. Far away, aboard the flagship of the Galactic Coalition, Supreme Marshal Zirin stared at the planet-sized vessel. His hands trembled. The legends were true, he whispered. Humanity has reclaimed the Leviathan. He slowly gave the order no commander had ever wanted to speak. Prepare every fleet. Today, we either destroy humanity, or the galaxy belongs to them once again. Silence filled the bridge of the Leviathan. The battlefield that had moments earlier burned with the fire of millions of warships now lay eerily still. Wreckage drifted through space like shattered constellations. The United Galactic Coalition, the greatest military force ever assembled, had been defeated in less than 20 minutes. Yet Captain Elena Ward knew the battle wasn't over. Custodian Prime turned toward her. The primary fleet has fallen. But the architects of this war are awakening. The holographic map zoomed far beyond the Milky Way, beyond neighboring galaxies, into the dark void between galactic clusters. The hundreds of crimson stars suddenly lit up. Except they weren't stars. They were engines. An armada so vast that it surrounded entire solar systems. At its center floated something even larger than the Leviathan itself. A living machine. Custodian Prime spoke a name that had been erased from history. The Void Sovereign. Dr. Elias Chen stared at the readings. That's impossible. The AI answered quietly. It destroyed the first human dominion nearly 2 million years ago. It has finally found you again. Across Earth, every screen lit up with the same transmission. Citizens stopped in the streets. Children looked toward the night sky. For the first time in history, the entire human race witnessed the truth. They were not alone. And they had never been ordinary. Captain Ward stood before the Leviathan's command throne. She thought about the miners who had uncovered the ship. The scientists who refused to give up. the soldiers who defended Earth, the billions of ordinary people who had no idea their ancestors had once protected the galaxy. She took a deep breath. No more running. No more forgotten history. We finish what our ancestors started. Custodian Prime smiled for the first time. As expected, Commander. The throne responded. Golden light spread through every corridor of the Leviathan. Across the solar system, impossible things began to happen. Mars awakened. Ancient cities hidden beneath its surface activated after millions of years. On the moon, forgotten shipyards emerged from beneath layers of rock. Asteroids unfolded into automated factories. Saturn's rings separated, revealing thousands of concealed defense platforms. Jupiter released colossal guardian drones from within its storms. The solar system itself had always been a fortress. Humanity had simply forgotten how to activate it. Every surviving galactic civilization watched in stunned silence. The legends had always claimed humans were reckless, aggressive, unpredictable. The truth was far more terrifying. Humanity had once been the civilization that defended every peaceful species in the galaxy. Not conquerors, guardians. The Galactic Council immediately transmitted an unconditional surrender. No demands, no negotiations. Only one message. Please, lead us once again. Captain Ward looked toward the billions of stars beyond the bridge. We're not here to rule the galaxy. We're here to make sure no civilization ever has to fear extinction again. One by one, fleets from every surviving empire lowered their weapons. For the first time in over 2 million years, the galaxy was united, not by fear, but by hope. As the Leviathan slowly turned toward the darkness beyond the galaxies, countless new human-built fleets emerged from the ancient shipyards, ready to face the Void Sovereign. The greatest war in history was no longer about survival. It was about protecting every world that called the galaxy home. And somewhere in the endless void, the Void Sovereign opened billions of crimson eyes. It had waited 2 million years for humanity's return. This time, humanity was ready.